Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. In the game of Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig, you are playing to build two castles. So there's a player here who is building on that castle and that castle. There's a player here who's building that castle, and assuming this is going around the table, the player who sits here is building this castle and this castle. You should be next to each other. So if you're playing with three people, obviously you want a slightly smaller table or smaller space so that the two on the ends can actually talk to each other. Each round, each person is going to look at the pile of cards that they have available to them. There are 9 cards to start with in each of the piles. He'll select 2 that are going to go into, so this is the guy here. He's going to select 2 who's going to go into each of those 2 castles and wait for the others to do the same. Once that has happened, he'll take the pile that he was just looking through and pass it on to the castle on the left, or to the space at the left. This player will also pass to his left, and this player to his left. Then the 2 players will discuss what needs to go in. So if we're looking at these 2 players here, this castle and this castle, this player has picked up these 2, and this player has picked up these 2. Each player will likely have an idea of which one they intended to put into which castle. So, for example, these 2 players are agreeing to put that one in there, which means this one needs to go in there, which means this one needs to go there, and this player will talk to his 2 and put them into there. It is then each player's job to select how to build their castle. So this one, which has a picture of stairs and down, means that's a downstairs room. So that has to go here or here. This room is an upstairs room because there's no downstairs and it's white surround. So it can go either here, 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 or here. If we look really closely at that throne room, you'll notice that there is the hammer symbol, which is the symbol for utility room, and the sleep symbol. So that's looking for either of those 2 room types to be in the location of the black dots. So either here or here. And it's worth 2 points for each of the cards that's in the right spot. So if we were to build a utility room, it should go either here or here. This castle doesn't have either of those, so we want to keep those clear. So what can happen is that one can go just there, and then this one is able to go in either of the 3 spots. Or they can go up the top, which means this one can go there or there. Now, the reason you choose what you're doing is, to start with, you're just told some information on your throne room. Every throne room is different. It's telling you what type of room. So you'll very likely find that those are the 2 types of rooms that will come out first, and they need to be put in the positions of where the black dots are, and that's different for each throne room. So these 2, this one here is looking for a living space or living room and a corridor, and it's looking for those 2 rooms to go there and there, not directly above it. And this one is looking for a utility room and a food room, also to be on the 2 sides. So this is a food room, he'll be able to do that. So he'll put that one in there, it just makes sense. Now, the room that I just showed you, the food room, has some writing down the bottom. 2 points per garden that is next to it. So what has also been pulled out is, you guessed it, a garden. So the garden would go next to it. So what I've now done is, this card has its 2 points for that. It hasn't been able to put a garden on this side, but it's earned 2 points for the throne room. Other thing to bear in mind, the garden had a blue surround. The blue surround means you cannot build anything on top of that. It can be built as high as you wish, but you can't build anything on top of it. Every room must be built up the right way so you can see what's in there. There is very small writing on them, but you're looking at information on the bottom of every card. So with those utility rooms, so this utility room gets 1 point per living room that it's connected to, which means if I put that in there and I put that next to it, so I'm able to build a living room just there, that's 1 room that's connected. If I build a living room there and I build one on top of it, that's 2 that are connected to that. So as long as I can continually walk through living rooms to get to that utility room will score every single one of those rooms. Halls, when they come out, they're looking for a certain symbol, which is on the top right of each of the cards. This one is looking for that mirror symbol. So for every mirror symbol that surrounds this card, you'll get a point. And there'll be different symbols. There are 4 of those different symbols in the game. If there are dots on the card, it's telling you to go above it. So this one has a dot with an arrow, which means every one of the living rooms that is in this line is going to get those points. This one has the black spaces next to it. So this is looking for utility room here and here. For each of them, that'll be worth 2 points. This is a living room. You'll notice it's looking for 1 point for every sleeping room that surrounds this particular room. And this is what the sleeping rooms look like. Now you'll notice that it's 4 points if you have one of every type of room. 1 point for each of these if you don't. So if you have a whole bunch of these and at least one of every other type of room, every single one of these is worth 4 points. If you have a whole bunch of these but you don't have all of the other rooms, it's only worth 1 point. And that's the basic game. Now, when you get to having 3 of any one type of room, there's a bonus that happens on the back of that. And that's pretty much the game. You're going to continually build that castle until you run out of cards. On the last time round, so after the 4th turn, you'll only be putting 1 card underneath the castle in between, and that one will get discarded, and you'll take another 9 cards to start the next round. We continue doing what I've just spoken about until you have done 3 of the same room type. As soon as you've done 3 of the same room type, depending on what type of room it is, you'll get a bonus. So if you have 3 of the food rooms, which are these ones, that allows you to draw an extra 5 cards. And you're going to have to keep a real track of this, because if this one manages to get 3 food rooms, the 2 people who are building this are going to have to decide between them. So you get 5 more cards, and you choose which of those types of cards are going to get added into the castle, depending on what your type of thing you're trying to do. And the other 4 are then discarded. If you get 5 living rooms, you'll be able to take one of these cards and add it to your throne room. What that gives you is 1 point for each of those symbols that actually is in your castle if it sits in the throne room. So there are 4 symbols, there are 4 different cards. You choose which one you'll take, and it's basically a matter of making a choice of where your strengths are within your palace for which type of bonus you'll take on that to put into your throne room. If you get 3 utility rooms, which are these ones, you'll get to draw 3 of these cards. And between you, choose which one. Now, I'm not going to tell you what they mean. They're all symbols and they have their meanings in the book, so you can look them up. But basically, 2 points per garden that's actually in your castle, in your palace at the end of the game is just bonus points, and that is kept secret from everyone else. The outdoors rooms, the sleep rooms, and the corridors all have similar things going for them. They allow you to take one of these things. So if you do 3 of the outdoor rooms, you'll be able to add a fountain, which is one of these. Noticing this also has the blue surround, so you can't build on top of the fountain, and that'll just give you an extra 5 points at the end of the game. If you build 3 corridors, you'll get one of these added in, and that gives you points for the number of rooms that actually surround this room to start with. So if you put it there, you'd start with 1, 2, 3 rooms, 3 spaces around you, 4 spaces around you, should I say, and you just try and fill up the other spaces. And if you do sleeping rooms, you get to put a tower on top of your tallest tower. So theoretically, you put it up there, and what that gives you is 1 point per room that is below that room. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rooms, so 4 points at the moment. You can keep going down in the dungeon to add more points onto that. If you take that later in the game, obviously it'll go higher, and that will get you more points again. The only other room type that I haven't spoken about with the bonuses is this one down the bottom, the dungeon, or the downstairs rooms. The downstairs room enables you to choose one of those other room types I've spoken about. Bear in mind that the only rooms that are able to be built below the level of the throne room are the dungeon rooms, and corridors can be built down there also. If you place 5 of the same room type, that enables you to draw one of the 3 specialty room types and just add that to your castle as well. So it's potentially possible for you to add a few of those if you wish. Okay, I think that's enough information for you. I hope this gives you an understanding of how to play Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. Please go on and watch my gameplay to get a feel for how this game plays. If you have any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be gamesplayed, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to keep up to date with the games I'm playing. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining. And until next time, enjoy gaming.